let's move into our final topic, and this is kind of our final half hour, basically, of the show, is we're going to recap Week 7, and we got some interesting things to talk about with some of the games. We're going to start out with the most interesting one. You gave a wet boy to their quarterback, the Browns, and the main thing we're going to look here, Browns-Bengals, Browns getting the win. Dave, OBJ is out. Baker Mayfield looked better after OBJ was out. How is the OBJ injury going to affect the Browns moving forward? That's what I want to look at from this game.
It doesn't. Overreactors out there are really like, how? I mean, like you just said, well, he did better after OBJ left the game. Did that have anything to do with OBJ? No, not really. Had nothing to do with him. Like, their game plan is not OBJ touches the ball every single time. So it doesn't really affect them too much. Yes, they lose out on an amazing pass catcher who can make catches that no one else in the NFL can make. That's going to hurt a little bit. But at the same time, the offense has weapons everywhere. This is a stacked offense. Yeah. Remember, the problem with this offense was never the weapons. It was always the quarterback and the offensive line. So OBJ lost, sure. They're going to slow down? Not really. Like, they've got weapons everywhere. So Browns team can keep rolling. I'm more concerned on the other side of that ball. Joe Burrows got throttled again.
Yeah.
I mean, this man is not going to survive another couple. He's getting carded right now. I'm telling you. This is like, what year were the Texans started in?
Was that 2012? I'll look at it. Or was that? No, that was before that. I'll look it up.
Whatever year the first car on the Texans, where he just got murdered about 78 times in his first season. Like, you're just not going to be the same after that, after a while. So my heart's out to Joe Burrow. Apparently, I saw on our boy Pat McAfee, their boy Carlos Dunlap, I think, is selling his house.
Yeah.
From the locker room was tweeting about 2002.
2002 was the Texans' first season.
So yeah, that 2002 season, that 2003 season, like, yeah, it screams of that. Yeah. So I'm just, this is a Bengals team that is in absolute destruct mode. So we're gonna have to see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, so when it comes to the Bengals, JD, who's in Twitch chat, was in Discord talking about like how worried he is, or how sorry he feels was the phrase, and I immediately was like, when it comes to the health of Joe Burrow, hope that he's healthy still. Like, obviously, you don't want him going out there getting hurt. You don't want to see what happened to Andy Dalton happen to Joe Burrow, which we'll talk about when we get to that game. But like, he was more on the side of like, this Bengals team should have more wins, and I was like, don't feel sorry for that. If you're a Bengals fan, how this season has gone, you want this. This is what you've wanted. You've wanted Joe Burrows to look good, but you lose games. That's the recipe for this, because if you get to the top of the draft, there are guys there. Jamar Chase, you can get yourself a wide receiver. Hell, if you're not even in 1, 2, or 3, you can get
wide receiver.
No, but you can get yourself Sunwell, who is the top-rated tackle from Oregon. You can get yourself Cosme, the Samuel Cosme from Texas. Hell, you could even be in play for Alex Leatherwood from Alabama, another lineman. So it's like, there are guys towards the top of the draft that you could get. Whether, like, because I'm in the side of, if the Bengals are 2 or 3 and it's Chase or Sunwell from Oregon, I would take Chase over Sunwell and look for the offensive tackle in the second round. That's just me. But there's a plethora of offensive tackles there. This is what you want. You want Burrows to look good, but you want to lose games, because there's no way this team is competing for a Super Bowl anytime soon.
Hit 40 times a game.
Yeah, well, that's the issue. Like, I was talking about what JD said, he should have more wins. Joe Burrow, you just want him to stay healthy. That's all you need. Which part of it is the Joe Burrows is a gamer. He's going to go try to win. Some of those runs, you're like, Joe, you don't got to run. Yep. You don't have to. Just sit there, take the sack. It doesn't matter if we win. But on the other side, I agree with JD in Twitch chat. I was going to say it, and then he texted it out. I think the biggest thing from the OBJ injury for the Browns is this offseason the Browns will be shopping OBJ. He'll be traded. Because the rest of this season, Dave, I see 1, 2, 3, 4 games where Baker Mayfield looks 3 games where he looks god-awful, a 4th game where he has the possibility to look god-awful, and then, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games where he looks amazing, and that's a 10-6 record. The teams that he'll look god-awful against, Steelers Week 17, Monday Night Football against the Ravens, the week before that against Tennessee, he'll all look like duty. But he plays the Texans. He plays the Eagles. You got Jacksonville on the schedule. You got both New York teams on the schedule. Those are your 5 wins.
Yeah, that's true.
And then maybe like the iffy one was the Raiders next week. Because like the Raiders could be a good team, but at the same time, the Raiders aren't like a Ravens or a Steelers.
Right. No, I agree.
So
Browns are set up pretty well to succeed. I think it's Baker Mayfield's got his career in his hands right now. If he wants to be a starting quarterback for a long time, he can go win 5 more games.
Yeah.
They'll be a playoff team. Done.
Dave, the next game, Lions-Falcons. This is one that had an interesting storyline all game because neither of these teams wanted to score points. Then what happens? Todd Gurley, it's set up. I believe the Falcons were down like 1 point, and he waltzes into the end zone, Dave. Accidentally. Doesn't waltz in. He kind of turns. The ball just crosses the plane.
He realized halfway through the tackle that the defender was lifting him into the end zone. Oh, that didn't quite go as we planned.
I'll be honest. Picks-wise, I was not upset because although I picked the Falcons and was wrong with them losing, I was like, yes, Todd Gurley touchdown. I have him in fantasy. So I was happy with the touchdown. But yeah, the Lions get the win, and like Soapy was telling me later that night before we did our WrestleMania live watch-along reactions, Matt Stafford the GOAT for leading them down the field and getting them the touchdown. Lions with the win, probably saving Matt Patricia's job.
Yeah, unfortunately, Matt Patricia's still going to have a job for a while longer. The Browns, Bengals, the Lions, Falcons, and the Steelers, Titans were all down to the wire nail-biter games. All 3 of these games were incredible. And honestly, I think I was happiest to see the Lions win. I'm with you, even though I picked the Falcons. I thought the Falcons were going to win it.
No, you picked the Lions.
I picked the Lions.
You picked the Lions, Dave. That was one of the ones that we were on the opposite side of.
Dope. And I'm even happier now that I know that. At the time, I was like, man, I'm just happy to see the Lions do this because, like Soap said, watching Stafford go down the field in what was like 54 seconds or something like that.
Yeah.
Like
from Detroit zone 24.
And then that Hawk the sidearm throw into the end zone, just bulleted it. You gotta love Matt Stafford. That's a gamer right there.
Yeah. And it was like when the announcers were like, he was like, just give me one more chance to win. I was like, all that's missing is fucking Stafford holding his shoulder. It's all that's missing from this.
You see that Galladay catch?
Yes, I did.
It was subhuman. Like, I don't even know how you fucking pull that. If you haven't seen a Kenny Galladay catch, go check out the fucking Twitter gifs of it. It was amazing.
And Dave, you brought up the other one. The next one we were going to go into were Steelers Titans. This was a game where the Steelers were up 27-7. This was a game that I thought, yes, it was early in the third. They went up 27-7 with about 10.5 to go in the third. But I was thinking, shit, this game is in hand. Steelers are not going to lose this game. But Dave, first off, the Titans come back. They pull within 3. And then how do they ultimately lose the game? Steven Gostkowski missing a kick at the end of the game to lose them? The question I have about this one, because I think it's yes. My answer to this question is yes, 1,000 times yes. I almost wanted to ask, is this going to be the AFC Championship game we get? But I know what you would have said. Put some respect on Casey's name. So I'm just asking, is this a future playoff rematch? Are we definitely going to see these two go head-to-head again in the playoffs?
It looks like it should be. I mean, this was such a fantastic competition because Pittsburgh's defense was so good and they held up so well, and Big Ben fell victim to some poorly
3 INTs,
poorly timed fucking picks.
Yeah.
Like that last one was soul crushing. I think they were on the 3-yard line or some shit. I knew they were driving. All I can remember.
Are you talking about the Juju one?
All I remember was the pick happened at like near goal line. I was like, oh,
yeah.
crushing.
The one that I'm going to say is not on Big Ben, and it's Juju's fault, is so Juju has both hands on it. Yep. Yes, I know Malcolm Brown is pushing up his arm to where trying to break it. You got to hold that ball, man. You had two hands on it. You gripped that thing so tight to where no arm is getting through because it was like a whoop, and then the ball was just there for the other defender to grab. Yep. To where it's like Big Ben did everything he could. He put the ball exactly where he had to put it for Juju to catch it. Juju's just got to fucking have stronger hands on that catch. And how many times can Ricky make a strong circle with his hands? But because I noticed I'm doing it a lot.
Credit to Tennessee. Like, they never gave up on the run game, which as a team that gets behind, Derrick Henry still got his 20 touches on the ground. That's exactly what you want to see. You got to run the ball. That was their game plan from the get-go. He wasn't the most successful at it. He did have a decent day, though, all in all. Like, it's just moving the ball. A.J. Brown was ridiculous. Like, that's just – A.J. Brown is underrated as far as wide receivers go in the NFL. Like, what he was able to do out there.
Or as Michael Irvin called him on the NFL pre-shows, Allen Brown. His first name is Allen. So he's like, Tannehill's going to throw to Allen Brown. He goes, that's AJ, if none of you guys know that. So Allen Brown have big games. Dave, the next one, Panthers, Saints. This was another one. We were on opposite sides. You picked the Saints. I was like, I got to go with my Panthers. I've picked them a lot this season after dumpstering them in the preseason predictions. Dave, this is a game where I have two thoughts from. Number one, this Saints team it's just one of those things where they've had so many close games against teams like the Chargers, the Panthers, the Lions, the Raiders even. Like, fuck it, every game's been a close game. Like the Bucks and Packers though, those are like, oh, those are really good teams. The rest of them are like, you're not blowing out anybody to where I feel like this team might stumble into the playoffs, but once they get into the playoffs, it's like, are these close games going to be like, yes, we have that experience behind us for the playoffs, or is it going to be a, oh shit, we should have had some games where we blew people out? Like, is this going to be a benefit or hurt for them?
I think it's always a positive to walk away with a victory. Close games matter, and knowing how to manage the clock, as we've seen, critical. Yeah. Critical. 4 games this week where clock management played it decided the game for teams. So I think this is just a really well coached, really well run offense. Their defense is phenomenal in their own respects. But Drew Brees being like, so I don't have Michael Thomas. Whatever. So I don't have Emmanuel Sanders. Whatever. Like, Alvin Kamara want to go touch the ball 45 times a game? Yeah, we can make that work. Like, that's cool by me. Marquise Callaway, huge game. Came up big. Traquan Smith had a great grab. I guess he had a couple others because he had 4 catches on the day, but I've got one perfect grab in my mind. But, they had a great game. And then shout out to Jared Cook because I pivoted last moment. About 11:54, added Jared Cook to my starting lineup. Nice. I was like, he's going to catch a touchdown today.
And he did. It did. Fun trivia question, Dave. Yep. How many punts have the Saints kicked this year?
0? No shit.
0. Like, and the best thing about it is their punter, I'm blanking on his name, on Twitter with Drew Brees. This tweet was a picture of them both holding up zeros, and it says inactive again. Because he's been inactive the whole year. He has not had to punt the ball once.
That is awesome. But this Saints team just shut down the Panthers run game. Yeah. Teddy Bridgewater played a decent game, though.
I was going to ask you about him on the Panthers side. So, Christian McCaffrey, news about him as he returned to practice today. Good sign because Adam Schefter earlier today said that playing on Thursday is a long shot for him. But to me during this game, I was thinking one thing, and that's Teddy Bridgewater. His contract's up at the end of the year to where... Yes, we don't know what the Panthers... Like, I don't even think the Panthers know what they want to do yet when it comes to Teddy Bridgewater, either keeping him or not. But if the Panthers say, no, we're going to move on, based how he's been playing this year, Teddy Bridgewater is going to get a contract with a team next year, right? Like, this is a guy that has shown this entire year, win or loss, that he deserves to be a long-term starting quarterback, even more so than that bum who didn't get to play in Minnesota this week, which was probably the only good thing I saw on TV this week, or didn't see on TV.
Bridgewater's done good with what they've given him, and I think this team suits him well. The passing attack that they have laid out, using the running back as the short screens as an addition to your running game, like they have a lot of packages that work well for him, and then he has the ability to air it out to a Robbie Anderson, to a Moore if he's open. Like, so he's got the deep threats, he's got the short tosses, like. It's everything that reminds me of what made Teddy Bridgewater good in college and what he was able to do successfully for that Saints team just a year ago. So I think this Panthers team really works well for him long term.
Yeah, it's one of those things too where it's like coming up with the mock draft that I'm going to do after the Monday night game it's just with the Panthers. They could be in a situation to get a quarterback in the first round, one of the three quarterbacks. It's just
giving the third quarterback because they're not getting
not getting Lawrence. They're, like, Fields is probably not Fields. It's Trey Lance. It's Trey Lance.
Yeah,
they're probably going to be able to get.
It's better than Teddy Bridgewater.
Oh, he's not, and it's like that's the thing of I look at it and I go, the Panthers got to re-sign him, right? Because he looks really good out there. The other thing from this game that was a cool moment is Teddy scampered out of bounds, and his momentum took him to the Saints bench. I don't know if you saw this, Dave, very smoothly just sat next to Drew Brees and fucking Taysom Hill.
He did the thing that Mahomes, was it Mahomes? Yeah.
I think it was either Mahomes or Lamar Jackson did. One of them.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson ran off to the side and sat down next to Mahomes.
Yeah.
And he did that. I didn't even catch that.
Well, it was funny because, like, the announcers were joking, like, yeah, former quarterbacks, they're saying, "Nuh-uh, bud, you ain't on this sideline anymore. You got to get back in the game." Next one we're looking at, Dave, Bills-Jets. Jets almost won this one. I was hoping. The Skull Viking fan in me was like, can the Jets pull off the upset? They did not. They lost 18-10. So, Dave,
sad day.
The question I have here, not the Jets, because we know the Jets who they are who we thought they were. They suck. Should the Bills be worried? How worried should Bills fans be after this game?
Very. The answer is very worried, Ricky.
They should have blown this team out, Dave.
The Jets are not good at football.
No.
And their defense played really well, which concerns me because I'm like, who's left on this defense? How are they able to exert their will on this Bills offense and keep them out of the end zone? Like, it didn't make any sense to me how this game was as bad as it was. And it was just like, well, the Jets took a 10-point lead into half. And then obviously the Bills had field goal, so it wasn't half. I didn't say that. But Jets had a lead. And they couldn't move the ball after that. And I think the entire second half they had like 4 yards or something dumb. Like they literally, I got to find the stat for it, but there was literally a stat where it was like the Jets offense, I don't think they had like any yardage in the second half. Let me see if I can find that.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's all yes. If you're a Bills fan, be worried. Be worried a lot because to me, this all I don't want to say falls on, but the main guy I'm looking at is Josh Allen. Like, where'd you go? Like, come on, man. You look at earlier this season, good game against the Jets where he had 2 touchdowns, no INTs. Then 2 games of 4 touchdowns with wins against the Dolphins and the Rams. Then that game against the Raiders where they absolutely went nuts, and it was the back and forth affair where they just won that game dueling Derek Carr. Then a loss to the Titans. Then a loss to the Chiefs to where
totally allowable. Like those are both games.
Yeah,
they were
allowable.
Not
I'm not saying like they should have won those games. Allowable, but it's like you lose those games. This was supposed to be the game of like, okay, let's get back on track. Let's play Buffalo Bills. Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills, Dave. That's what this game should have been, and it wasn't.
4 yards in the second half
is what the Jets
New York Jets.
Yeah,
4 fucking yards. How do you almost lose to that?
But they did, and that's the thing where it's like I look at this Bills team and I go, maybe the AFC East isn't in as clean hands as we thought because
credit to the Buffalo defense, though. Y'all are fucking monsters out there.
Well, I mean, I look at it and it's like the Bills are in control of this division right now. But if you look at the standings, Miami's right behind them. Tua's coming in. Tua might be able to win this division from them if he plays well because the Patriots ain't playing well. Yeah, the playoff, they might be able to because the Patriots, we'll get to them later. They ain't playing too well also.
Shout out to Frank Gore. Still chugging out there. Fucking 48.
Fuck yeah, Frank Gore. Just chugging along. Chugga, choo-choo.
5.5 yards per carry. He had 11 carries, 60 yards. Wonderful game again by him. He just does his thing, man.
Yeah, he is a consummate veteran, Dave. I believe that's the words we use for players like Frank Gore. The next game, Dave, this was one to where it's like, so I originally had in our picks Cowboys with you, but then I was thinking, I'm sitting there and I'm going, nuh-uh. After what I saw last week, I don't care that they're playing Washington. I got to pick against them. And I'm glad I did. I didn't see the fucking Washington football team, the FTC, blowing them out. Rich Eisen on the NFL Network before the games had the best saying. He's like, in his picks, he goes, I'm going with Washington because the WFT is going to have a WTF moment when they blow out the Cowboys today. Thought it was pretty cool. But Dave, the question I want to ask here is, who should be pointing the finger? Like, who should we be looking at for blame for the Cowboys? Is it Mike McCarthy? Is it all the injuries? Because there's a lot of blame, people are going like, oh, but they're injured. Like Dan Orlowski today talking about how he's like, I don't want to hear about, oh, they have this backup and that backup. He's like, Ezekiel Elliott's not a backup. Amari Cooper, Gallup, Lamb are not backups. No excuses. Who's to blame for the Cowboys?
I mean, everybody. Everyone's to blame. That's the problem. Is like when you look at a football team performing as poorly as they did on both ends of the ball, everyone is like, you can't just be like, oh, well, this is just because Mike McCarthy's a bad head coach. Well, no, he's not a bad head coach, but there's already rumors and word has leaked out of that locker room that players don't feel like they're prepared enough, that the coaches aren't working hard enough. So there's a lot of negativity floating there. So you got one problem.
It's bad when you make Jason Garrett look like a great head coach.
Yeah, this is Jason Garrett right there. That's Jason Garrett football. Like, when that looks good, you've got a problem. I apologize to the viewers because that couldn't have felt good. But no, watching them play was horrible, and I think the players gave up on the game partway through. Like, 100% believe that. I mean, the fact that just denounced John Bostic, a former Chicago Bear, with a dirty hit, no retaliation by the Cowboys. That's the thing that I'm like, I completely agree when I was watching the Pat McAfee show. It's like, you don't get away with a free hit on your quarterback like that without getting somebody else to knock that guy down and push them back on the fact that, hey, you can't do that to my team. Like, that's my quarterback moment. You can't not have that. And that just shows how out of it. That shows how out of it that team is. Andy Dalton got fucking clock clean.
Well, I was going to ask you. I saw an article today that apparently a fine is not expected in that. That's a wrong decision, right? Like, that was a 100%. Helmet to helmet. Like, he was giving up his body. Yeah.
Yeah. It was, and I think this is the second time I've seen Bostic do a dirty hit to a sliding quarterback that I can recall. So it's not out of character for him, which means even worse. So it absolutely should be a fine. But yeah, the Cowboys as a team, like, it's perplexing to think about just what went wrong with this team, because when you look at what happened, like, Dak Prescott was on fire to start the year. Like, that offense was moving and shaking in his first 4 games. He was killing it. 9 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 102 quarterback rating, like 69% completion rating. Like, he was on fire. That offense was marching.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott getting himself a big old fat deal now.
Here's where I'm at with the Cowboys, where this week Jerry Jones needs to make a fucking decision. He basically, to quote Cat Williams, got to make a pimp decision, Dave. Got to make a pimp decision. You walk into the store, Gonna buy the shoes, gonna not buy the shoes, gotta make a pimp decision.
I hate
That's
that.
what Jerry Jones has to do. He's got to make a decision this week because you want to.
She's the quarterback.
You want to know the funny thing about this whole division, which is the NFC least?
Yeah.
This is what happened to the draft picks this week, Dave. So basically, by Washington winning one game, they went from the 2nd pick to the 10th pick. By losing one game, Dave, the Cowboys went from the 19th pick to the 8th pick. Them and the Eagles switched. The Eagles were at 8. Now they're at 19 because they're the last playoff team, and that was Dallas. And then the Giants, they're just solidified at 2 now, where they're like right behind the Washington football team because Washington was in front of them. They were in front of them for the pick. So it's like that's where this division is, where the Cowboys need to make the decision of, okay, are we going to actively try to make the playoffs because the division is in reach? This Eagles team ain't going to go on no big run. This Washington team ain't going to go on no big run. This division is in reach with 2 wins. Or do you just say, fuck it, Dak's out. This season's already been bad. Let's just tank. Let's just tank for a high pick and come back next season. Because to me, there's a disparity in the picks to where it's like, I'd rather have one of those top 10 picks rather than be picking 19th. Because you ain't getting much lower than 19th. You're either getting 19th or top 10.
I mean, that's probably true. Probably true. It'll be a middling team. I don't think they're good enough to get out, and I don't think they're bad enough to be a top 5 pick. Mm-hmm. So they're not going to get Trevor Lawrence, which is a bummer because that would be their ultimate answer because, hey, we don't want to pay Dak, so we can go get Trevor Lawrence to win-win. But Dak is the guy you want to build around. Dak's going to get himself a contract. He's going to be a Cowboy for the next 4 years. Guarantee it.
Here's my question to you.
Yep.
Do you see either the Bengals? Let's see. Bengals, Vikings
Texans
are trash.
Bengals are trash.
Jaguars or Giants winning another game this season?
Yeah, I think any one of those teams can win one more game.
So if any of those teams win one game, Dallas is above them in the draft order because of strength of schedule. Because of how bad their division's been.
Dallas can win more games.
Oh, okay.
Like you're saying, like Dallas is never going to win a game. They've written off the season.
No. That's what I'm saying. Like should they go into the tank to where it's like, let's not win. Because if any of those teams can win, they could probably get up to 3 or maybe 2 if they just tank and do what the Jets are doing.
They're not that bad. At least I don't think they're that bad. My guess is to go get Ryan Fitzmagic. It makes the most sense.
So
it's a win-win.
This week, trade for Fitzmagic.
Yeah, they should do it today.
Okay.
He can't start for them on Sunday because of that, I think, though. So like they have to trade for him now.
Mm-hmm.
In order for him to start the following week.
Yeah.
So
and this is the trade deadline week.
Well, no, but I mean, like you literally can't because of the COVID protocols.
Yeah.
So even if they traded for him today, he could not start for them on Sunday, I believe, is the ruling.
Yeah.
So I think the answer was, as long as it's done before Thursday this week, he should be able to start on Sunday of next week or Thursday of next week. Like it's a full calendar week.
Yeah.
So they have to make a deal today, tomorrow, Wednesday. Like that's it. Has to be done. Cannot wait. They have to get Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's the best available quarterback. He can absolutely win them, 6 more games. 100%. Like that man can fucking sling footballs. I got nothing against the Red Rocket out there, but he's not looked great. He got his clock cleaned, and I don't want to fuck around with concussion. So I'm all for moving on to Ryan Fitzpatrick at the cost of like a 6th round pick.
Yeah,
I know they don't have one this year, but like a future 6 or 7 or whatever. He doesn't want to be there. He wants to be a starting quarterback.
Yeah.
Guess what? You get a good year as a starter here in Dallas.
Like, I don't know. I'm only torn on it in the sense of even with Ryan Fitzpatrick on this team, I don't think here's the thing. The Cowboys with Fitzpatrick can win the division, but I don't think they win a playoff game with all the injuries you've seen on defense. I don't see them making a big enough dent in the playoffs for it to matter to where it's like, if I'm Jerry Jones, I'm sitting here going, high draft pick. That's what we're going for. We weren't in this situation, kind of like the Warriors. Not in this situation. We didn't expect to be in this situation. Guess what? We are. Because even on the defense, like I look at it and I go, even if they're 7, 8, or 5, meaning one of the teams above them gets one more win, even 2 more, and they're just tied with them because Dallas might win a game. Like a guy that could help their defense and Gregory Rousseau even. Like just something that's like, here's a high draft pick, helps us when Dak gets back. To where it's like, that's what I think the Cowboys at least have to be looking at is this is the time where we have to pick a direction. Because
I agree,
we weren't expected to hear.
I think intentionally losing games is the wrong direction because their locker room already is fragmented. Their coach might be out, and he hasn't even been there a full year. Like, you've lost the locker room. You've lost the respect. They've stopped trying on the field.
Well,
if you keep losing, they won't play for you anymore. Like, that's the problem. You can't bring them back at that point. So if you go ahead and lose 14 fucking games in a season, guess what? All the talent on that roster is going to want out. All those luxury picks that you had that you pissed away because I want CeeDee fucking Lamb in the first round. Yeah. Who cares that we don't have a defense? Yeah. Well, Jerry Jones, you look like a fucking idiot again. Yep. Like that's what it comes down to. You ruined your locker room because you didn't try. They can't do that. They have to go for the wins. They have to win now. It's put Fitzmagic in a position to play football, which he wants to do. It's win-win.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would say is I do agree with you. If you just say like, oh, we're going to tank, but don't fire McCarthy. I feel like if you're going to tank, if that is, I feel like the move would have to be fire him mid-season so that the locker room knows the only reason why we're doing this is not for the long term. It is for right now. So it basically isn't a kind of like, oh, I don't want to play for this guy. Well, that guy's out of here. But also, if you fire McCarthy after one season, how does that look?
If you fire before season's over, how does that look?
Yeah,
you fire him after what? 10 games, 7 games is right now. So like give him 3 more weeks, and then if he doesn't win, like you fire him. What?
I never thought I'd be saying the Cowboys wish that Jason Garrett should be back because I thought he should have lost his job years ago. The next game though, Dave, this was kind of an easy blowout. Many people expect it to be a blowout because Packers coming off a loss. Aaron Rodgers played great against a Texans team that isn't that great.
Yeah. No, Aaron Rodgers without his number one weapon in the backfield, no problem. Guess what? Next man up mentality. Jamal Williams rocked it out there for them. He had been great in their passing game for the past couple weeks. Went out there, got it done on both ends. And Devontae Adams, just monster game. Like every play he could make, he did make. He had some incredible footwork along the out of bounds lines. Like he was tiptoeing his way down lines. Yeah. Just really dominant game. And the Texans had a late push to, save some face. But like, let's be honest, we've seen everybody do that to the Packers. It's they kind of just go prevent, like, look, this one's over. You can score a couple points and not look like ass right now. It's okay. We're not going to punish you for it. Yeah.
My biggest takeaway from this game, because of the Sunday night game too, which we'll get to, is more in the sense of, okay, when it comes to MVP voting, Aaron and Russ both had one bad game. They're even again. Like this was Aaron's game too, because he played so well. Yeah, I know it's the Texans, and the Texans aren't as good as the Cardinals are when the Cardinals want to play good, because they've been inconsistent. Like this is just the whitewash of like, okay, they're even again. The MVP race is going to be interesting going forward. Then the Bucks Raiders were early on. It looked like maybe the Raiders had something like. Early second quarter, like 10-7. And then Tom Brady's like, oh, yeah, wait, I'm fucking Tom Brady. And just went off. And it ended 45-20. Not good for Gruden and the Raiders.
Yeah, no, it was really ugly. And I loved every minute of it because Tom Brady being dominant is good for football. And as much as I hate that happening, I can still go, oh, the Bears beat the Bucks. So, like, by the transit property, we're a better team.
Yeah.
Worst 5-1 team in the NFL, but about to be 6-1 in about a couple hours.
Yeah, Dave, about to be 6-1 in a couple hours. And then another like Chiefs Broncos too. That was another one where it was like just a
I turned down for about 8 seconds.
The Broncos, I will say, first quarter, second quarter, kind of looked good. Where it was like, okay, maybe this could be a close game. And then the second half happened.
Yeah,
Even before the second half, like the second quarter happened.
Highlights of this one because I was not going to waste my time on it. I knew this game was going to be toast.
Yeah.
I did not expect the Broncos to compete.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I'm kind of questioning at this point is just like their play calling on offense does leave me with some questions. I don't know if it's the wide receiver preference they're not running, but like someone who is as highly acclaimed as Jerry Jeudy coming out, are you surprised that he hasn't gotten more touches in that offense?
I mean, this whole offense has been I think that the Drew Lock injury, then having to go with the different, like going with Rippin, I think this whole offense has been fucking in not shambles, but like it's been jarred to where it's like there's no rhythm. And Drew Lock, this is him trying to get back. There was a spot where he did get injured. They thought he was going to be out, but he wasn't, didn't miss time. So I was like, to me, it's like this offense, I didn't expect it to be good coming into the season, to where it's like, I just think this is a Broncos season where you get through, you see where you're ending up in the draft, and then yet again, no Bradley Chubb and fucking like Von Miller's out. So you didn't have Von Miller out there, to where it's like you're not at 100%. So of course you're not going to be going up toe to toe with the Chiefs. The thing I found funny was way back in the first when Drew Lock had his 2-yard run, and he was like taunting the defender, like, oh, look, oh, I got you. Everyone on Twitter's like, you're taunting a sleeping giant. Don't do it. And then they lose 43-16. I found that funny. Like, maybe you shouldn't taunt the defending champs. Maybe that's not a good idea in this one.
Chiefs are good at football. Pretty good at football.
Yeah. The third blowout from this week, Dave, actually has something to talk about.
The afternoon games just sucked.
Yeah,
Can we be honest?
The afternoon games were horrible. But this one at least has something to talk about. Is Cam Newton got benched. Jarrett Stidham came in for them. And Dave, I'm going to ask you. The next 2 games, we're talking about quarterback futures. Cam's job, does he start next week? Or does this mean that Jarrett Stidham could be the starter for the Pats moving forward? I didn't think we'd be talking about this. I thought it was going to be MVP Cam this year.
I told you. They're a shitty team. Who's got to throw the ball to, Ricky? Who's got to throw the ball to?
I thought like Tom Brady made his
no wide receivers.
Better.
None. Not one.
Oh, I know.
Turns out, as a GM of a team, you should really draft someone to throw the fucking ball to. Like, you can't just have Tom Brady throw to a bunch of 5'6" white guys out there for 20 years and just like, oh, well, it'll probably work for the next guy, right? No. Turns out, no. You're not going to have the most accurate quarterback, the smartest quarterback who knows defenses, playbooks inside and out more than they do, be your guy forever. So, like, you got to figure out how to make that transition. They did not prepare for that. Therefore, they failed. And that's exactly what we're watching. Obviously, Cam Newton's still not feeling great. Post-COVID, Cam's been awful statistically. I know it's not like anything where he's admitted anything, but it is something to keep an eye on. And his 2 games back, not been great. So keep an eye out for Cam Newton next week. I think that he hasn't lost his job by any means, but I do think that this is definitely brought into question, like, is he the guarantee guy for the long run, or are we just having this as a 1-year stop bargain shop for Cam Newton, and then we're picking a new direction moving on?
So the comments he made on WEEI this morning said, the first thing I said to myself coming home was, you keep playing games like that, bro, and it's going to be a permanent change. You don't need to tell me that for me to understand that. I get it loud and clear. So, like...
Yeah, he's aware.
Cam Newton knows that his job is on the line. It's just one of those to where it's like you said, like, I think this is, after this, I don't think he keeps his job for much longer. Like, I think he's going to struggle. I think he's going to get pulled. Stidham's going to come in. Then next year, this offseason, we're talking about who's looking to sign Cam Newton.
Quarterback. We're going quarterback happy in the draft. There's about 8 teams who need quarterbacks and only 3 in the first round.
Like,
so
here's the thing I will say, because yet again,
looks good. I know he's not till next year, but
putting together the mock, here's the thing that I think, though, that's weird.
Yep.
Fields doesn't get past 3. The only difference is who's at 2. Because right now the Giants are at 2. I don't have them going with Fields.
Yeah, I keep getting Giants over Fields for the moment, but it's not unthinkable.
It's not unthinkable, but it's just like it's not a for sure no-brainer. We're like, if Jacksonville was there, if the Falcons were there, if even like Washington was there, they probably take Fields at 2. But like Trey Lance he's the one to where it's like he could go early to a Jacksonville, to a Detroit, to an Atlanta, or he could fall all the way to the Saints and just get put on the Saints in the middle of the first round. Because like what Drew Brees gets one more year, then Lance is your starting quarterback. Like
more years, a lot.
Yeah,
this might be it for Drew.
Trey Lance might give it as a rookie and starts.
They might give Taysom or Jameis a 1 year trial and then move
they got
on.
Jameis.
Who knows with that? But yeah, no, like the Falcons thing, same thing. Matt Ryan's under contract for about I think it was a $40 million cap hit next year. Yeah. Like you can't move on from that. So you could pick up someone like Fields to fill in back there and learn slowly. So I'll go with all that. But yeah, at the end of the day, Cam Newton likely job on the line. He's going to have a couple weeks to figure it out. There's a Pats team who has a lot to prove, and like they've got a good defense. They can make this work. It's just. Man, San Francisco just pounded the fucking rock, right?
Yeah, they did.
And I know your boy Oster wasn't out there.
Hey, man. No matter what running back, McKinnon, Wilson, Mostert, like
Jr. Another shout out for potential wet boy of the day. Did not make it, but 3 touchdowns, over 100 yards rushing.
Yeah,
great day from him. Did not see that coming. Did not.
Yeah, I didn't either. The next game though, Dave, similar question of like one quarterback looked good.
Huge.
Air Bear. Everyone on Twitter was high heavens to Air Bear.
Is Air Bear not the best quarterback in this draft? Can we just not be like, just
Joe Burrows? Joe Burrows looked pretty good.
Might be better than Joe Burrows.
I'm pulling up the tweet because I think it was SportsCenter put out this tweet, and there's a part of me that was like, ooh, let's not forget about Claypool. I know he had a down week. But every other week before this,
0.
Yeah, this week was bad, Dave. But everyone gets one bad week.
Justin Herbert's been nothing short of fucking spectacular.
I think it was SportsCenter put up they had fucking Burrows' stats and then Herbert's stats, and they were like, man, this Rookie of the Year race is getting wild. And part of me was like, hey, we can't be forgetting about Claypool out there. It's going to be close. Air Bear has a chance, though, to be the Rookie of the Year when it's all done.
He is special. He is slinging it around without a care. He's big. He's strong. He can run with the ball. Like, again, on the year, so far this year, 1,542 yards, 12 tutties, 3 interceptions, 74.5 QBR, which is very good. I will remind you. Very good. Better than Joe Burrow. I don't know why I went to Trump there. That was weird. Like, you brag about yourself, then you got to shit talk your opponent, and then go right back to.
You're wrong. You're wrong, Dave. Wrong.
Even if you could do it, I could do it better.
Wrong. I am the most athletic person in this room, Dave. Most athletic. Me.
He's just really good at football, and I think that's the shocking thing is like he was a kind of a question mark to a lot of people, and like, well, you know, he got the job on a fluke, and like maybe Tyrod's gonna get it back, and then it's like you watch him play, and like, oh no, this guy can ball. This guy can fucking sling it. So I don't know if did you find that tweet?
I didn't. It was basically their stats, and it was like, damn, this is gonna. And then I just got upset that fucking Claypool wasn't on there because Claypool has been good this year.
Joe Burrow on the year, 2,000 yards because of course he's played more games. But 9 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 57.3 QBR.
Okay.
So put them next to each other. Herbert, by far, the superior player right now. And again, Herbert has a front line that will keep him alive through this season. Joe Burrow does not. So, you know, you're working with less. You're being asked to do more. You're being asked to throw the ball 60 times a game.
Yeah.
It's a tall task, but again, I will just keep praising Air Bear out there because he is doing things that beyond expectation. Like he might be my favorite player right now in the NFL.
I think he is. Every time you talk about him, you light up, Dave. That smile hits your face.
I want to get like the powder blue with Air Bear on the back. Like how good would that? Like custom jersey. That's what I'm thinking. Christmas gift to myself this year is getting an Air Bear powder blue.
Your size is a large, right?
I'm a fucking medium, son.
Are you a medium? I just remember those jerseys being tight.
I could bust out the Dion and check it. But no,
maybe there'll be a
I felt like a big on. Yeah. I know jerseys are supposed to be big on it because pads and shit. But when you're wearing them around, like, oh yeah, don't you go large so you can wear a hoodie underneath or something?
Yeah, you could do that if you want to do that.
Well, like who wears jerseys out? When you do wear a jersey out, do you wear it with a t-shirt under or a hoodie? Like that's my question.
I usually wear it with like how I would do it is like I would have a shirt underneath it, like an undershirt. Just a just a normal undershirt. Yeah, just like a normal undershirt that I would like tuck in because that fucking I don't want the white popping out on the bottom. The jerseys you want to be baggy are hockey jerseys because you're supposed to wear those like fucking like sweaters. Like that's supposed to be your jacket. With how heavy
I've seen football jerseys over hoodies though as well. That's why I had to ask.
It works.
Same thing with basketball. Basketball, you get that a lot. Because, not a lot of guys like to show off the fucking guns.
You got t-shirt and then basketball jersey. That's what you got to do.
That's there's no good look for that.
Unless you're in shape, that's how you wear a basketball jersey. That's just how it's done. The other quarterback, Dave, though, did Minshew do enough?
No.
Because before the game, there was rumors that he could get pulled if things get ugly in this one. And he did not.
Ricky's frozen. But he's still live on stream.
I am.
But he can't hear me.
It's my Discord. I can hear you, Dave. I can hear you. Hello? Hello? It's my Discord, guys. Like, I heard every word you said. It was as you said it was my Discord.
Oh, okay.
My Discord
I'm looking at this and I'm looking at the stream. I'm like, oh, he's still talking.
No, what happens is my Discord from time to time will like drop to red.
Yeah.
To where I have to just disconnect and come back in. But they said that they might pull Minshew if things get ugly. Obviously, they didn't. Did he do enough to save his job?
Yeah, I think Minshew did. I don't think who's going to lose his job to.
I'm thinking
it's the draft.
That's what I'm thinking. Did he do enough to lose his job to a drafty quarterback?
No, he played okay. The problem is partially in their play calling. Mm-hmm. But I don't think he's played poorly enough that you can say he's going to be replaced next season. I think he's continued to prove that given the opportunity, he can keep you in a game. He's not a fucking air bear out there. He's not going to win you games.
Yeah.
But he's not going to lose you many games. I think he's at mid-tier quarterback. I almost blurred the hell out of that right there. I could feel a little bit of chicken coming up.
Ooh, tasty.
He's a mid-tier quarterback. He is not someone who will dominate games, but he can do enough. He can play smart and win you games. Which is crazy for someone who looks like Florida, man.
Yeah.
Play smart.
I don't know. This team right now, if things stay the way it is, and they're at 3, and the Giants are at 2, I think Fields is a Jacksonville Jaguar, and he lost his job.
I would take Fields and Herbert, Fields and Lawrence over.
Let's be honest, 99.9% of teams are taking Trevor Lawrence over their quarterback, and the ones that are at the top.
Agreed.
With that one team maybe being the Bengals.
Yes.
Or the Dolphins. Would you, if you're the Dolphins, would you take Trevor and then try to trade Tua? Or would you keep Tua?
That is a tough decision.
One doesn't have an injury question. They have gone head to head though.
They will see how healthy Tua is though. They'll have time. So who knows?
Yeah, I mean,
8 weeks, 10 weeks, we'll find out how good Tua is at football.
Bengals.
If he's as good as I remember him being, then they'll be fine with Tua.
Yeah, out of all the 2-loss teams, there are 2 teams that I think would not take Trevor Lawrence: the Chargers and the Bengals.
Yep, I agree.
The two quarterbacks that are playing the best this year, the young guys. Dave, the last game, I'm just gonna. Here's the thing: Russell Wilson. You've talked so highly about him. He's your boy. Kyler Murray, this Cardinals team. I also feel Kyler Murray. He's Dave's boy. He's Dave's guy.
I got a lot of
Dave's guys. We'll have a segment where it's like Dave's guys. What were your thoughts on this game? Russell Wilson throwing 3 interceptions. I haven't seen that this year, but the Cardinals actually winning a good game against the Seattle Seahawks because not even they wanted to win the game. I think missing that field goal.
Came down to time management to end the game. That was critical. Being able to call all 3 of those timeouts. Mm-hmm. Some sour pants on Reddit was like, oh, notice how the Cardinals used a fake injury in the 4th quarter to save themselves that timeout. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, they would have had 30 less seconds at the end of the game, and they wouldn't have been able to get down there.
Yeah,
it was like, well, but they did.
Yeah,
they used that fake injury. Mm-hmm. So I credit to that fucking defense. Mm-hmm. What's his name on the Cardinals defense? Buda Baker.
Got caught by DK.
Thought he was done.
Yeah, got caught by DK though. Not faster than DK Metcalf.
I don't think anyone's faster than DK Metcalf in the league right now, outside of maybe John Ross, who's not really playing football.
Yeah. Myles Garrett says he wants a race between Metcalf and Tyreek Hill in the offseason.
Ooh.
Because apparently, you know who else is faster than Tyreek Hill?
Oh.
Danny Dimes. On Thursday, Danny Dimes on that fucking scamper.
Time. Yeah.
I mean, it was a hair quicker, but technically Danny Dimes is quicker.
I don't believe that for a moment. I think it's fastest recorded time. I don't know Tyreek Hill has ever had run his fastest ever because he's Tyreek Hill.
Yeah. The best, I think the best fucking tweet that I saw when that happened was Rich Eisen. Because he's like, don't worry, Buda Baker, I know how you feel. And he posted the video of they put Rich Eisen running the 40 because he runs it every year in his suit. Him running the 40, they gave him a 5-yard head start on DK Metcalf and had DKs right behind him, and DK just whoosh, right through him. Right through Rich Eisen. Did I freeze? Yeah, I froze. No, another one. Yeah, I froze, Dave. I know. It's one of those things. I was just saying Rich Eisen.
Seahawks don't have a chance to win games if it's not on Russell Wilson's arm. Yeah. Their defense sucks.
But yeah, let's see. How many did you calculate out? What is it, 11-1 right now?
I went 11-1 this week.
Yeah. You went 11-1. That would mean I went 9-3. Yep. With the Rams Bears, I changed it to Rams because I'm like
you're getting all fucking hypey with your last second changes here.
Yeah, well, the Rams Bears, I was like, you know what? I'm kind of in that sense of I want to try to gain a game on you, and I think that Rams Bears could be one that I could gain. I gotta pick my spots. Like Washington Cowboys, that was one where I picked my spots. That means overall, what you're 76, 25-1, if my math is right now.
Why am I not betting?
I don't know. That's on you, Dave. But yet again, we're not doing points things. These are just straight pick'ems.
I know. Just take the line, yeah.
Okay. That's the thing where it's they're just straight pick'ems. And then Dave, the last thing we're going to talk about today, we got to do it. College football and COVID. There are newsies going out there with this. The first one is Wisconsin and Illinois had a game this weekend, Dave. Guess who has COVID? Wisconsin's quarterback.
Nailed it.
Wisconsin's quarterback. So now I'm already worried about my team, my Fighting Illini, that they're going to get infected. But you want to know what was going on Twitter when this happened?
What's that?
So he played an amazing game. Two things I saw. Number one, Illinois fans saying, so COVID is a PED. COVID is a performance-enhancing drug now. And the second thing is, and this was probably the best tweet I saw, was we got dominated by a guy who had COVID. Please tell me that I shouldn't be worried about this season. Tell me I shouldn't be worried. And I was like, I can't tell you we should be worried.
Can't do it.
The other story, Dave, is this is coming college basketball side. Good thing, though. This is good news. We had talked about how college basketball was going to do their 8 or 12 tourneys at Disney. Yep. They have scrapped those plans. They said because testing, they couldn't get the testing right. They couldn't get the right qualifications down. They're going to postpone those tournaments. So the Atlantis tournaments and all those that ESPN does, those are going to be postponed till 2022. So the 8 tournaments are being canceled. Boo that they're canceled. Yay that they're not going to put kids in situations that they shouldn't be in. Well, just because they want to make a buck.
They're probably going to do that because they want to play the season, but the tournaments themselves, the smaller tournaments, aren't going to.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to put a bunch of teams in the season's still going to happen. Yeah. But it's good that they're not doing it, Dave. That's what I think. And then last thing, Dave, you said Bears, I said Rams for Monday Night Football that just kicked off. It's going to be a great game. Want to thank you all for watching another edition of MVP Sports Live. Hopefully my stream keeps up so I can end the show. Join the Discord, link down below, or !Discord into Twitch chat. You want to support us, patreon.com/MVP vids is how you do that. You can also throw us a sub on Twitch, where we are live every Monday through Friday, twitch.tv/MVP vids, and we're on YouTube at MVP Sports. Dave and I will be back tomorrow with more. I know that some people may be saying, well, guys, another thing from the weekend is that Jalen Waddle got injured. How's that going to we'll talk about that later this week. There was the recap takes about 40 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes. So there's not a lot of stuff you can fit in on a Monday show, but we will be back tomorrow. Thank you guys for watching and listening. And as always, have a good day, everybody.